Week 20. 20 weeks since we've become a cult. Have you taken advantage of the stuff we're trying to put out there for you? I hope so. I'm glad you're still with us. This is a learning curve and we're growing together. I just want to talk to you this morning or today, this week, about painting. Two types of painting specifically. Painting for God. And through this expression, I want to talk to you about how approaches to God now are similar to a good father who has a house. And he has, let's just say, 4 young children. And they're all under the age of 10. And this father's house, it's kind of broken down and it needs a good coat of paint. And so, but he's only got these 4 young children who have never painted a house before. And so they need to learn how to sand and how to patch and repair and prime and then paint this house. And when you think about it, that's quite a task for 4 young children ranging from 9 to, say, 6 or 5. So the father has an expectation. He is either going to expect those kids to have or to develop all the perfect skills to make his house, his external house, just look beautiful to all passers-by, or he's going to be a good father and he's going to be patient and kind and long-suffering with his children as they apply their untrained, unsteady, uncoordinated hands to sanding and patching and repairing and priming and painting that house. In exterior religion, material religion that dots the earth today, most religion is about painting the perfect house so passers-by will see it and say, oh, what a professional job. That looks great. But with God and the painting of his house, his body, the church, some people call it, his isn't so much about the people making it look perfect. He's about the people doing its hearts. And so he's like a good father who takes his children and he understands that they're going to make mistakes. And he understands they're going to sand wrong and they're going to patch badly and they're going to prime wrongly. And the paint isn't going to look so good when it's done. But that's the kind of God he is. You have one father in the house who is mean and strict, and he forces his children to do it right so that he looks good to the neighbors. But you have another father who says, come on, let's work together. And he allows the children to make mistakes. And when we approach material religion, the problem is most of us have the first father who is demanding and wants everything to look good. But in reality, the relationship we have with the living God, we are like little children with paintbrushes who have never painted before. And he is helping us grow in him. And he doesn't care about those mistakes. He cares about the heart. The second painting expression I want to talk about is individual subjective expressions of art, painting and art. There are some churches and religion who give to their people paint by numbers. And they say, make sure that you hit all these things we've set up. So what you paint for God as a piece of art for him looks exactly like we tell you. Some churches aren't so restrictive and they don't make it paint by numbers, but they might say, don't ever paint outside the lines that we've given you to paint your picture that you give to God. But in reality, the relationship that we have with God now is not paint by numbers, nor is it giving us forms with lines. It's a blank sheet. And God wants you to, if you want to paint for him and give him a creation, he wants you to put on that paper what comes from your heart. You might not have the skill to paint a beautiful picture, but with what you have, you give what you have from the heart. And that is what is beautiful to him. You see, so I'm just making the comparisons when it comes to painting things. That there is a way that we do it to be acceptable to the outside world, to give them a show, to give them a performance, to give them presentation. And there is a way that is from the heart, and that is God's way of leading his children. And then when it comes to our individual expressions, there are religions that demand that our expressions conform with what they say they should be. That's called church. But in this age of the Spirit and no brick and mortar, we have God say, you paint me a picture. You tell me what you feel. And you might take your hand and draw a little yellow circle and take your hand and draw some waves with blue and take a brown and make some mountains, and it's crude and rude, and you hand it up to God and he says, this I love because it's from you. And other people will take a paint by number thing they've been given by their church and they do it, and he might say, well, thank you for that gift. I know that's what you're giving me, but really, is that from your heart? Is that how you are? So that's what we are looking for in our relationship with God here. We aren't looking for men and women to interject themselves and their attitudes and opinions into your life. We're looking to teach each other the principles of painting. We're looking to teach each other about balance and about form and contrast and shadow. But we aren't telling people what picture to paint. That's up to you. So I just hope you can go forward into this week and you can see religion as being the father who demands his kids paint his house perfectly. And religion is seen as giving everybody paint by numbers or outlines on what they should do. Versus what we're in now is God says, listen, you're my children. I will endure patiently with your growth. You come, if you want to help build the kingdom, you come and you do what you can. I'll know what's of the heart and what's not. And if you want to paint me a picture, you give me what comes out of you subjectively. And I would love that far more than a paint by number, you must do it this way. Love you guys.